something ain't right.
World at War. World at War. One of the last ones of. Hopefully out and clear here tonight. Hopefully that it's the case. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Real Deal Media's #1 late night show, World at War. It is late tonight, as I finally made it here. Had a nasty spill that I don't want to get into here tonight. Little after the usual time here, but welcome to we're going to have a casual World at War here tonight. One of the last episodes, as you can see, that's one of our classic little covers there. Very proud of it. Yes, that's true. We're going to have a casual night, and we're going to graze through the headlines here. As I am Dean Ryan, if you are only hearing me through the audio, as we're going to be just cherishing the last, if not one of the last World at War episodes of 2025 here tonight. And kind of sad, isn't it? Kind of sad for me. It's always kind of sad for me at the end of the year because you're just starting to get a hang of and a hold and a grasp of getting the flow of the year and getting things right. And boom, it just ends. It certainly does. And but we had a wonderful weekend, and a big thanks to those who, well, we hope you enjoyed the wonderful special we had for Christmas over there. Yes, the Melvis Christmas special. We hope you enjoyed that thoroughly. So thank you to those who were there, and thank you to all those who were part of that, participated in that. Just quick scheduling note before I forget, because my feeble mind is just that way. Tomorrow night, since tonight will be one of the last World at Wars, we may return on the 26th, but tomorrow night you'll see an encore edition of that director's cut. That is a director's cut of the an extended edition as well of what we couldn't show you. We didn't show you. It's pretty wild. And if you knew how that entire special was made, that probably should have been the show in itself. Anyhow, tonight we're going to be getting into some of the things that are making splashers in the headlines as we cruise control our way to Christmas. There's a lot going on. We have the acquisition, the acquirement of Venezuela that's underway as a World War III segment we'll share with us. We'll talk about what that entails and a lot of what I shared with you in my thought process of what that is going to look like and why we're there is going to come to fruition, sadly. So yeah, we'll be talking about that. We also have some things happening in the humanoid robot takeover. We're going to be talking about some real deal bots. Very excited about that. We have some natural, just instances of natural disasters with the Colorado River coming about. We'll see what that entails. And we'll talk about some big discoveries too in the scientific world as the new humanoids, speaking of, have been discovered. Yes, I can't wait till that one comes about, but You'll really enjoy that. As well as we have our special guest in the later half tonight. Mr. Matt Millan will be talking with me about the winners and losers as the Hollywood industrial complex is falling. We'll see what the Hollywood Reporter says is who are the winners and who are the losers. We'll determine if that's true or not, as a lot of censorship is now coming their way, and see how they like it. And the answer is they don't. So you'll see that really coming about there. Okay, so we are broadcasting live on The Real Dean Ryan over there on Facebook, as well as Dean Ryan TV over there on YouTube and Rumble. Yes, we are there for sure. Okay, now let's get started with some headlines from around the world. And I'm going to tell you, in some of these headlines, I forgot to say, Alex Jones is now taking on Candace Owens. You're going to see that. And it's about time I take on Alex Jones. I'm going to probably have to give him an uppercut here tonight. You'll find out why. So let's now get started with some headlines from around the world. Real deal headlines. Let's talk about it. Let's be about it. And why can't we be friends? Okay, now, as you know, it's a slow time this time of year as we put some chestnuts that roast over the open fire, as we put that incredible pot roast on boil. But that doesn't mean the world stops in making their imperialistic moves. So we're going to start, in some cases, domestically here first. Well, you might have heard of the Larry Ellison acquisitions of TikTok and CBS. Well, if people at CBS didn't think that there was going to be censorship, well, they're having a rude awakening and a just flying elbow, just drop on their reality as we speak. Well, check this out now, as now Paramount is up for sale. And it's going to be changing the way people watch television or watch their shows that they're used to, as now censorship is now coming from another angle and perspective, as we call it, the kosher right. Well, now Paramount guarantees Larry Ellison backing in amended Warner Brothers bid, as Paramount is now guaranteed backing by Larry Ellison in a hostile takeover of Warner Brothers. And that doesn't just sound all too dandy with some, because as this is happening now, just last night, you might have heard, well, there was a major censorship in a story about the deportations that are taking place right here in the United States. So Larry Ellison, who is BFFs with a BB, well, he put a bid in to shut down a certain report just 24 hours ago. Well, 60 Minutes correspondents now are slamming Barry Weiss, who was part of the acquisition by Larry Ellison of CBS, and her, quote, political decision to axe a Trump deportation report in a stunning internal memo that just came out hours ago. As now a 60 Minutes correspondent, Sharon Alfonsi, slammed CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss and her decision to abruptly pull a report slated to air just last night on migrants deported to El Salvador's infamous CCOT mega prison. Well, Alfonsi trashed the decision as a political one, which amounted to a corporate censorship kind of conclusion in a scathing internal memo, to the staff. It's hard to believe. Well, the segment reported just last night by Alfonsi focused on men deported by to the maximum security facility, and a long criticized by human rights groups over there in El Salvador, as you know. Promoted publicly on Friday afternoon, the report was pulled from the broadcast just 24 hours later. Isn't that true? Well, the internal memo, first reported by the Wall Street Journal, pointed the finger directly at Weiss. Which finger, I wonder? Could it be the middle, maybe? Revealing that the head of the CBS News declined 60 Minutes producers the opportunity to discuss the decision with her. Well, Weiss, who's a total blowhard and has no respect from anybody I've ever known or met, reportedly raised concerns about the absence of an on-camera response from the Trump administration. Alfonsi, countered the network, had repeatedly sought comment from the White House, but the DHS, which is based in Tel Aviv, and the State Department, which might as well be based there too, has been met with silence. The refusal to be interviewed is a tactical maneuver designed to kill a story, Alfonsi wrote. And if this administration's refusal to participate becomes a valid reason to spike a story, we have effectively handed them the, quote, kill switch for any reporting they may find inconvenient. And that's how the cancel culture of 2025 has looked in my little year in review analysis on that one. So there you have that one. Now, here's another thing that seems to be really on the afterburner before we get back to the domestics. This just came in moments ago now as Russian evacuates. As we're speaking, Russia has now made a declaration that they have evacuated their diplomats and their families from Venezuela, as the United States just moments ago has now seized oil tankers around Venezuela. Talk about a hostile takeover. This is so illegal, I can't even begin. I mean, if this is what it's disgusting. Anyways, Russia's foreign ministry has now begun evacuating the families of diplomats from Venezuela. Now, a European official has now told the American media as of today the United States pursuance and its third sanctioned oil tanker over there in the Caribbean by President Donald Trump and his administration convened senior national security officials at his Mar-a-Lago resort. Well, the evacuations, which started Friday, to be exact, and include women and children, come as Russia officials assess the situation over there in Venezuela in what the intelligence source described as a very grim tone, unquote. Now, the withdrawals signal heightened concerns about the stability of the South American nation as Trump administration escalates its 4-month pressure campaign against President Nicolas Maduro's government. Now, more than 10 vehicles bearing the diplomatic license plates stood outside Russia's embassy in Caracas just this morning. Though no personnel were visible entering or exiting the compound, the vehicles had departed by early afternoon. Now, neither the White House nor the Kremlin responded to the request for any comment of any sorts. It's worth noting that Venezuelan Foreign Ministry, and Minister that is, Ivan Gil, said Monday he spoke by telephone with the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, who expressed Moscow support against Trump's declared blockade. Now, Gil, who accused Washington of committing attacks against vessels and extrajudicial executions and the unlawful acts of the piracy in the Caribbean, he has put guilt and blame on the Trump administration and solely them, with a little help from their friends over there in Tel Aviv. Now, Trump's meeting just recently with Secretary of State, the very little Secretary of State, little Marco Rubio, man who can hear things that we can't. Well, the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, and the Navy Secretary, John Phelan, comes as Coast Guard vessels continue tracking sanctioned tankers over there in the Caribbean waters. Well, the White House now characterized the gathering as a preparation for a major, quote, major announcement, with a White House official saying that Trump planned to discuss a shipbuilding initiative. Well, Coast Guard cutters on Monday pursued for a second consecutive day a sanctioned tanker that officials now have described as operating under a false flag and subject to U.S. judicial seizure order. So we can just make things up as we go, and that's just it's just kosher to everybody who's involved. Now, the vessel is the third targeted in a recent day as part of what the Trump administration calls Venezuela's, quote, dark fleet. Ships used to evade U.S. sanctions over there in oil exports. Now, just this Saturday, the U.S. Coast Guard personnel seized a Panama-flagged tanker, Centuries, it's called, following the December the interdiction of another Panama-registered vessel called the Skipper. No word on Marianne or the movie star, but they certainly sanctioned those ones and really got their grips on them. Now, in closing, the economic pressure is something not to blink or overwrite or even just leapfrog over, for that fact. While U.S. forces operated in international waters, a tanker identified by the Transparencia Venezuela An independent government watchdog as part of the shadow fleet was observed moving between Venezuelan refineries, including a facility in El Palito, roughly 3 hours west of Caracas. Now, the vessel remained docked at the refinery through Sunday as families visited, and many onlookers were not aware of the acquisition and takeover, no matter the hostility. So, yeah, that's happening. Military operations continue over there in Venezuela, and it looks like we are doing this in Israel. I have to say, Israel will be very pleased because they need to have Venezuela in order to have a war with Iran. Sad to say. There is that one. Okay, here's something interesting, very interesting. Over the weekend, you may or may not know that the TP USA, which I'm not sure what TP stands for at this point, I really don't know anymore. Well, they had their fest, their big like Lollapalooza for the turning points over there, and there were some very awkward moments. Many have said. I'm going to show you the first one. For some reason, they invited Nicki Minaj, who is a little off-colored, and her brand. It is very lowbrow. If you probably know who I'm talking about, a rapper. In her little interview and awkward exchange with Erica Kirk, one of the Ericas, pay attention to this one very closely. Then I have a Freudian slip from the Erica or the actress playing. And then I'm going to share with you Alex Jones, who has now come out of the woodworks and made the effort to combat Candace Owens. And you're going to be stunned on this one. And then I think I'm going to throw some barbs back at him. I think it's time. I think it's really time. I'm tired of his little yap and all the just heretic things he's done to me and many others over the years. It's time to punch him right back in the mouth once and for all. So check this out. This is Nicki Minaj and having a menage of a conversation with Erica Kirk. And it's cringe, but we like cringe and the fringe over here. Check this out.
You have amazing role models like our handsome, dashing president. And you have amazing role models like the assassin J.D. Vance, our vice president. And when I say that,
trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine. Yes, we did. I love you. I love you. You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your back. And this is what's so beautiful about this moment, because if the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord. And words are words, but I know her heart, and it doesn't even matter. And you say what you want to say because I know your heart. And I will not judge that.
Sister. Thank you.
Well, we don't know your heart, Erica. In fact, we don't even know who the hell you are. Say what you say, and the Lord, yeah. What a heretic. What Freudian slip. Cringe. And you understand why they made her CEO, so you can't criticize what they're turning into, which is, Tel Aviv, USA, pretty much. That's why they brought that little pipsqueak, Ben Shapiro, who I just want to mop the floor with. Pipsqueak. Oh, God. Don't you just want to lure him in with a piece of cheese and smack him just like that? Okay, here's another one here. This is this other pipsqueak, Erica. Now, listen to her Freudian slip here. And Nicki Minaj, y'all, that was just something very interesting. Check this out. This tells you everything you need to know what's going on here.
Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same gift. Grit. It has been a long day. Trust Trust me, you're not a grifter, honey. It's all good. Despite the
One more
devastating
time.
loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same gift. Grit. It has been a long
Oh, I love
day. It. Trust me, you're not a grifter, honey.
Trust me, baby. You ain't no grifter. I'm Erica Kirk. Y'all. What a... Yeah. The Lord works in mysterious ways, doesn't he? Erica, as you were saying, we'll pray for you. And guess what? Our prayers just got answered. How do you feel about that? And it's like we're not allowed to criticize this actress, because I mean she's literally just destroying everything that her assignment, Charlie Kirk, built. It's disgusting. Anyways, there's that now. Now listen to this one. I want to play this for you. This was sent to me actually by Mr. Neil Bishop. I got to give him some credit. This is Alex Jones, a man who that many people used to respect a long time ago, who's now become just a shadow of his former self, who's now acting holier than now. And notice when he comes out now against Candace Owens, it's all in unison, in concert with Ben Shapiro, the guy who I just squashed right here on national TV. And it's all coming together, and just like when all the pastors, all the Christian Zionist pastors came out against Candace Owens, who were paid to come out against her. Now, this blowhard, this bumbling fool, who I've can't even stand the mere tone of his voice for years now, a man who got me fired twice, went out of his way to fire me twice because, I don't know, he knew that I knew he had a CIA infiltrator in his confines. A man who married his prostitute escort, which oddly enough, her name's Erica too. Should we continue? Okay, so check this out, because I'm on a roll today, and my gloves are off, and this is my Christmas gift for everybody. Okay, watch what he's saying now against Candace Owens. Pay attention.
It was with a heavy heart that I am forced to put out another report, either tonight or tomorrow morning. We're adding a lot of information right now, a lot more research, dealing with Candace Owens. Just as soon as the whole Egyptian plane thing gets debunked with all the facts, now she's moved to something else, and I'm really worried about her. I'm worried about her and her mind, and I'm also worried about the country and where this is going. It's good to question Charlie Kirk's assassination.
When even Alex Jones says a line has been crossed, attention sharpens. In an extraordinary intervention, the InfoWars founder has issued a public warning about Candace Owens, not as a rival, but as a concerned ally. What began as conspiracy chatter has now triggered alarm inside conservative media itself, and the fallout is exposing deep fractures within the movement. Alex Jones is not known for restraint. For years, he has built a career questioning official narratives and amplifying fringe claims, often defiantly. But this week, Jones did something almost unheard of. He publicly urged caution, not towards the mainstream media, not towards the government, but towards one of his own ideological allies, Candace Owens.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. And what a wonderful crowd that is behind me. I just realized that. So he's literally saying the talking points. He's saying the talking points of what, all the people who are supporting this Turning Point USA, all the people who are behind the Daily Wire. I believe that's Ben Shapiro's little outfit over there. He's literally using a script just like the pastors were using. Was it 6 months ago when they were all caught receiving crypto from some synagogue of Satan place over there in Israel? And I understand the Israeli fatigue. Don't get me wrong, but if we don't squash these people and their efforts, we're going to be squashed in the process of their acquisitions of all of our lives, just like we're seeing play out over there in Venezuela. Okay, I like that one better. Now, watch the following here. So, yeah, he's changed. What's happening? What's going on with him? What's the big idea? Look at what he's now saying too. This is just came out today. The man who has a lot to hide, Mister 1776 here.
I'd love to go to Israel. I mean, how historical is that? But I just can't deal with the Alex Jones is, going to Israel to get his orders, whatever. It's just like, I mean, I would love to touch the Wailing Wall with all that history and culture. And like I touched Stonehenge. By the time I got to Stonehenge, they put a fence around it. And right after that, they made you really stay far away the next time I went. But I jumped the fence, ran up and touched it because I wanted to touch it. And so just to troll people, I'll probably go to Israel sometime and go touch the Wailing Wall because, I mean, that's a cultural thing. Just like I want to climb the Great Pyramid if I could. And back before they closed it to people climbing, and I've climbed Chichen Itza. It's the main deal.
I want to go touch. Do you see? He can't even lie anymore. He can't even lie without sounding like one of the Warner Brother cartoon characters. He wants to touch the wall, and this goes back to everything of his start. He starts out in 1996 in Austin, Texas, with Stratford, that's connected to the Mossad. And here we go. And what did Bill Cooper say before he died? Beware of this guy. And hey, it's all out in the open. Oh, he cares about Candace, her mental well-being. He's going to debunk it all. He's going out of his damn way to care about her. What a disgrace he is. And now we know why he won't have Mike Adams on anymore. Because he protects a certain country now all the time. He's a disgusting fool he is. Everyone that was good at that organization, he pissed away. Total drunk. He's a total drunk. Then he allows Pete Santilli to come back in his operation, a well-known FBI informant. He's such a disgrace. He makes me sick that I ever knew him. And there's no reconciliation either. Okay, so that's how that one is. Now, just to continue the edition here, we're now going to go to some real deal politics because Mr. Mike Rabbi Huckabee, he's going to tell us some things. So let's now get to some real deal politics to continue our grievances of 2025 right here at World at War, because it is war, isn't it? Somebody help me. Yes, it's that time of the year where we hear about presidential bids in the next 2 years, and people are going to be making their way to say, hey, I'm the executive chief and I'm America first. ... Well, really, Israel first, but don't tell anyone. Yes, and that is happening. Well, it's just an amazing, stunning turn of events. Just when you didn't think lightning could strike twice. Well, it does. As now, there's some people who are making their bids for president, and I, for one, I'm really just checking how this is going to do in the polls. But someone who's not a stranger to polls, who is very familiar with them. Well, Miss Lindsey Graham, she's making her way into the presidential aisles. And check this out. You couldn't write anything better. I don't care what Agatha Christie says. This is Lindsey Graham, the neocon from Jerusalem, who is making his bid. And we should be very grateful. He's so brave.
I can't imagine a nominee in 2028 being the nominee. If you want to run for president as a Republican in 2028 and you don't show strong support for Israel, I don't think you can win. To our friends on the Democratic side, I hope you'll up your game. I hope you'll realize that Israel's not the problem. The problem for peace is not Israel. I can't imagine a nominee in 2028.
The problem for peace is not Israel. Is everybody just like this Yosemite Sam loser? God, I hate Lindsey Graham. I'm not sure I hate them more anymore. He's always in the running. He's always in the top 3 of people you just cannot stand anymore. So they're going into so you see the narrative building. It's all about if you don't stand with them, then you have a problem. Meanwhile, they don't tell you 1 in 4 Israeli is leaving the country because they know what's the future holds. They know what the destiny is coming. This is a satanic cabal that is setting up Israel for implosion you see, to live up to Albert Pike's implosion, and then they want to implode Iran. Therefore, it crashes the world's religions. People walk away from the religion, and the new religion becomes the AI, the technocratic, just dreamboat of the wet dreams of the scientific dictatorship here. That's what this is all about. And to make matters even more decrepit, well, here's another guy who you're going to see here who's clearly on the Al Sharpton South Beach diet. Check this out as Mike Pompous Ass Pompeo is now telling us what we got to be grateful for. Here it is. Tell us, Mr. Pompous.
Iran isn't going to give up its desire to build out a nuclear weapons program. Yeah, if they're rebuilding, we should do the necessary, go take it out. We're capable of doing that. We can't let them rebuild their air defenses. That would make it more difficult to achieve that mission. So time will be critical in making sure the air defense systems in Iran aren't capable of taking down Western aircraft. If we do that, we should continue to go after their program every time they try to rebuild it. None of us should be surprised that Islamists, theocrats, and
yeah. And by the way, who's we? Who's we? Because if you ask anyone in America if we're part of the we just team over there that want to take out Iran or all these other countries, I don't think many Americans are signing up for that. The man who's turning into beef jerky as we're like speaking here. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Yes. What a disgusting, foul human being he is. So there's that one here. Now, in addition to that, just because, we need Venezuela because they have the oil in order to go to Iran and have that war there. And just to show you how callous this administration is now, listen to this now. I'm going to show you the two clips here of Trump talking. And it's more than just Venezuela at this point. And I got some Australian things after the half too. Now, this is Trump talking about after Venezuela, what we're going to have Greenland, whether they like it or not. I mean, this is a game of just conquer and divide, and if you don't, we'll kill you, kind of a matchboard game here. So here is Trump talking about Greenland, and rather interesting in this case.
We'll have to work it all out. But he felt very strongly we need Greenland for national security, not for minerals. We have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it. And he wanted to lead the charge. So we're making him, Marco, today, a special envoy to Greenland. Greenland's a big deal. Yeah.
Oh, great. We have little Marco leading the charge like little Napoleon all over again. You see, they want Greenland. He's not being truthful there. The reason they want Greenland is because all this global warming fiasco, which is all man-made by the scientific people, they're melting the ice caps in the north, which you're going to have the biggest trade route that's going to make the Panama Canal look like it just third graders, just a little idea. That's why you have Russia and China up there. They're all vying for position for the biggest trade route the world has ever seen. That's why he wants Greenland. And if you want to get esoteric about it too, they said there's like an extraterrestrial kind of ship somewhere within the crust information of it. But that's coast to coast AM kind of chatter, which I love. But I just wanted to share that with you too. Okay, so here's another one here. So we want Venezuela we as in Israel wants Venezuela. Israel wants Greenland. Yes. Israel is becoming the new Marsha, where we have to say Marsha, 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 which really means Israel, Israel. Now, here's another one. In the most braggadocious way, there's more colonization happening as Trump is now boasting about the Golan Heights. Over there, the Syrian Golan Heights. And he's wanted it the whole time because it's worth billions. Yes, the truth comes out in every which way you can possibly imagine, as ugly as it may appear. Here it is.
Signed the Golan Heights, the rights to the Golan Heights over to Israel. Nobody thought that was possible to get. They've been working on it for 70 years, Mark. 70 years. You know, planes would fly into places that have meetings that would last 2-3 days. All they talked about was the Golan Heights, right, Jason? And nobody ever did anything, but I did it, and we did it quickly.
See, this is not American first. Okay, so in the braggadocious way now, when it comes to Colombia, who they're probably going to be invaded next, is now Presidente Petro has now accused the U.S. of being on stolen land. What is the response to that, you might ask? Well, have a look at this before we go to break here, and we're going to come back with Matthew Millan after the break, but check this out. And it kind of gives you an idea, if you haven't had one already, what now the new image of the United States is throughout Latin America. If it couldn't get any worse, well, just give it 5 minutes as we're taking orders and marching orders from a very tiny, creepy country that is colonizing the world through the U.S. military might. Here it is.
So in response to the United States taking sanctioned oil from Venezuela, Colombian President Gustavo Petro criticized the United States by saying, well, the Southwest is stolen land and that it should be returned to Latin America. I just wanted to know what your response to that is.
Well, he has to watch because, you know, he's got drug factories. They make cocaine in Colombia. And he's no friend of the United States. He's very bad guy. And he's got to watch his ass because he makes cocaine and they send it into the United States of America from Colombia. We love the Colombian people. I love the Colombian people. They're great people, energetic, smart, great. But their new leader is a troublemaker. And he better watch it. You better close up those cocaine factories. They have at least 3 major cocaine factories. We know where they are. He better close them up fast, yeah.
So in response to the United States taking...
yeah, he better watch it, or we have a new sheriff in town around here. This goes against everything, majority, if not all, the people who voted for this Trump 2.0. This goes against everything people voted for, seriously. And to see this play out, and you know what's worse? Before we go to break, I want everyone to take note of everybody who's in favor of this imperialistic divide that's being perpetuated and facilitated behind the scenes by the Israelis. Pay attention to everybody who's pro the cover-up of the ethnic cleansing and genocide of that country. Take names and note who they are, because it's unforgivable, and I'll never forgive or forget these people who have committed treason right in front of our eyes. I don't give a damn, what kind of game's being played right now, but I do know what's right in front of us, and there's no forgetting or forgiveness of any of this, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not going to sit here and stand for it, and neither should any of you. So that's how I feel about it. We're going to take this quick break. When we get back, we're going to talk about more winners and losers of 2025 as the Hollywood industrial complex burns into its own demonic footprint. We're going to be talking some about some of the acquisitions that went nowhere, some of the late night hosts out there, and some of the rather refreshing surprises of the summer of 2025 that I think you should know about, with Matthew Millan here after the break here at World at War, where we are just naming and listening grievances as we go. Stand by. We'll be back after this quick one.
But where does that come from? You know, there's a difference between dumb and ignorant. Dumb is that a person cannot process information. They just don't have the capacity. They don't have an operating system, if I put it in computer language. Ignorance is that the data isn't there. What we're dealing with is not an operating system problem. It's a data problem. We have not downloaded the proper data, the true data into the minds of younger people. And we've assumed that they're going to grow up intellectually curious and intellectually honest, and that they will look for themselves, but they're not. That's the problem. They're not looking. They're taking at face value what some podcaster says, and the result is absolutely dangerous.
Jim attempts to date again in 2025, and the following happens. A, gets frustrated with all the toxic masculinity talk and punches out a millennial? Or is it B, goes on a date and starts reminiscing on his old Marine days, ask his date if she wants to go to a titty bar? Okay. That might be the answer right there. We may not have to go any further. Is it C, recites French poetry and begins to develop a French accent that never goes away? Or is it finally D, realizes everyone is Miracle Jab and decides to read the paperback edition of War and Peace? Wow. Okay, Jim Fetzer, tell us what happens on this date in 2025, if you could.
Well, I'd go on a date, and after a couple of Moscow mules, I'd start reminiscing about my old Marine Corps days and how much I enjoyed titty bars.
Okay, we are back. We are back. What a pleasant scene that was. What a pleasant scene. We are back as tonight's show is brought to you by Real Deal Media members and the Night Owls who make it all happen. We will be having a extra innings hour here following tonight's show with our featured guest who traveled all the way from the northern regions of California to be here tonight. I can't wait. Great man. If you want to become a Night Owl and join us for our extra show following tonight's program, all you got to do is go to realdealmedia.tv, tap your heels twice, if not 3 times. Yes, make a wish and blow into the sky. And as you're doing it, join the Night Owls and become a member tonight. Why wait till tomorrow? Be iconic, not ironic, be a player from the Himalayas, and be a visionary debonair all in one. Because this ain't Kansas anymore. No, it's not. It's the Golan Heights. That's right. At least I was told it was. Yes, it is. And a big thank you to everyone who has donated to the cause to keep these broadcasts going at givesendgo.com/realdealgo. You make it all worthwhile. And you make me smile. Just taking a deep breath. I have high blood pressure. Yes, I do. And now let's get back into it as I'm taking no prisoners here tonight. No, I'm not. World at War is back. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I am still Dean Ryan, your cruise director, traveling with you and cruising with you to midnight and beyond, as this is probably our last World at War of the year. Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe. And don't forget, tomorrow night is the encore edition, the director's cut of the Melvis Christmas special with a extended version of things you did not see. The bloopers and all, the dirty side of Hollywood and what happened behind it all. So that's tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern. Be there or be square. Just be. Yes. Because, I was going to do the Christmas Eve, but then every year I watch It's a Wonderful Life on the 24th. So anyways, before we get to our next guest here, we're going to talk about, and I'm going to bring him in to speak with us about it, some of the biggest losers, winners of the Hollywood industrial complex, the music world, everything we've known as the Babylon 2.0. But it is quite confusing, how some of these people are able to even exist still. But, the beauty of it is within the ashes, the true artiste in the new age of Renaissance. There's a new birth that becomes of it all, but you have to have the death first and all the pain. You have to crawl before you can walk. A little salt to taste the sugar. We all know. But it really gives a real chance now as independent filmmakers and music fashionistas to a real chance to get notice out there. But we're going to go through the darkness first before we get to the light, as now we're going to talk about, well, the real deal showbiz of all the winners and losers here. Well, just recently, Hollywood's biggest winners and losers of 2025 has now come out. And some of these, really, you can make a case of that's not really who won. Was it? Is it? In fact, I pretty much willing to bet there's a lot of more losers than there are winners. But I could be wrong. From award shows to digital TV, digital television like Apple TV, Netflix, the death and the end of mainstream TV as we know it. The directors like James Gunn, who we thought was dead meat, dog food, but he's able to continue his trajectory in Hollywood still, whatever that means. And as well as the true kings of late night. Well, we're going to discuss that and a whole lot more with our very own analyst of everything independent films and the lamestream Year and Soak Media, the one, the only, Matt Millan. Matt, welcome back to World at War. And what a great job you did on the lounge a week ago. People are still talking about that. You have a multi-talented facets here. But Matt, you heard what I was saying here. A lot of people are kind of just shaking their heads and thinking, how is late night television still even an example of able to exist? And then censorship comes in play. Let's talk about that. Are we seeing the very end of The Tonight Show and Colbert and all these other people like Jimmy Kimmel?
I mean, it's hard to say, but I think we're seeing a tail end of so much of, we are in a new age. The industrial age is over. We're in the information age. But it's a period of major transition. So, a lot of what we grew up with is, if not to be totally dead, it's coming in different form, man. And I think also we're just being oversaturated with garbage, to be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah.
With garbage too, and he has the Vulcan ears too. I just noticed some of the most nefarious people. So this backfired. Let's talk about this as we kind of look back at 2025, and we'll get to the wonderful things that did happen this year. But this was a big talking point here when he got canceled by ABC due to Trump. I believe Trump tried to cancel Jimmy Kimmel. I think that backfired. I think it was a horrible strategy by anyone involved. Did it backfire, or is it
absolutely because these clowns talking about how they're the free speech warriors, and with regard to what Jimmy Kimmel said, he didn't say anything so particularly insane. In fact, like what Trump and all this his goblins have said about Rob Reiner is way worse. Absolutely on an absolutely different level.
Well, I want to get to that in a second here, but just to refresh my memory and others out there, Kimmel said something about Charlie Kirk in regards to God, what was it again, Matt?
I think he was speaking specifically about the divisiveness, and particularly about the divisiveness over not only some of the things that Charlie Kirk may have said, but the whole death as well. And they were actually, if you actually look at what he said, it was not particularly controversial.
No.
And you may not agree with it, that's fine, but this is getting to the point of absurdity that, especially, the right wing co-opted this idea of absolutist free speech. And now, it's getting beyond the pale. So
it appears the op known as the Charlie Kirk event and all the things that came with it has been used to really drive a wedge between free speech for one, but also all the supporters of Trump who are Candace Owens being one of them, It's being used to stop hateful speech. If anybody questions what happened here or questions Kash Patel's, just precious girlfriend
Look
from
at all this.
PragerU.
Look at all their horrible Islamophobia. Their speech is utterly hateful, and they're just gaslighting all of us.
Yeah.
And
I feel the fumes.
it's not only the Republicans. It's a
across
lot of
the board.
It's very much, particularly with the establishment Democrats as well. So I mean, it's
okay. Here's another one too. Remind me to come back to Rob Reiner in a second, but this one, unbelievable. You talk about ratings drop. Well, this is a big one here. The award shows. Nobody's watching the Oscars, the Grammys, the Emmys anymore. Why do you think that is, Matt? Because I used to watch it every year with my grandma. It was a thing. Are people just fatigued and disgusted with these celebutons, or do people not care anymore about the self awards of Hollywood? What's going on?
I just think also we're in a transition because I mean, so what you see in Hollywood is these franchise films. Like the independent film is really suffering at the moment. And in documentary, if you see what Netflix and all these, in my field, what Netflix and all these are picking up is mainly true crime. It's true crime documentaries. A lot of them are very sensationalist. So, the opportunities for independent film, the whole field is changing, and it's a transitional period. So it's not going to be like this forever. But at the moment, if you're not Marvel, if you're not putting out another, demographically researched Marvel film, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem getting distribution. You're going to have a problem raising the money, especially in the indie films that are, $1 to $10 million. So, and I think what you're not. So it's not. I don't know if people are tired of it. I think it's just you're seeing like a much more limited band of content.
And there's all the remakes too. There's not a lot of original creativity anymore, which tells you. Or they're rehashing like, Rocky or Indiana Jones and ruining our childhoods from it. But in regards to Rob Reiner, let me play this here because I was kind of late to what happened in the Trump's take on Rob Reiner, who we'll get to here in a second. Check this out and we'll discuss after.
Down on his stunning criticism of slain director Rob Reiner.
No, I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country.
Even big names who are solidly in Trump's corner are slamming his reaction to the murder of the Hollywood icon and his wife.
That just crosses every line of just basic human decency.
Actor and outspoken conservative James Woods was friends with the famously liberal Reiner for decades.
When people say horrible things about Rob right now, I find it quite frankly infuriating. And distasteful. Did I agree with his politics? I did not. Did I love him as a friend? I most certainly did.
On The Five, Fox News personality Greg Gutfeld said he would have handled it differently.
If it were me, I'd go but I'm sorry he's dead. But he can't let that go. We don't have to like it. I just look at the deeds.
Okay,
but I get why
Matt,
you're upset.
Let me ask you this question here as we just saw that piece. This has been a very polarizing time now in Hollywood, especially with Trump 2.0 coming back. But the difference between 1.0 is I think people are tired of the divisiveness in the United States. And I think that was a perfect example of people saying, hey, we're tired of this kind of talk here. This guy brutally was killed by his son.
Yeah.
Do you think we're at that point yet? We're just now tired of the divisiveness, no matter who it is.
I think to a large degree. I mean, I'm certainly tired of it. I'm not gonna. I'm still gonna stand my ground on certain issues, but I'm very tired of it. And that with Rob Reiner too, that affects me the most. I mentioned when I met him to you, I think when we were talking, and I mean, whether you like his politics or not, he was very funny and a lovely guy to me. And, he laughed when I called him Marty DeBurgi, and he said, any guy who likes Spinal Tap, I'm fine with. So, and, Spinal Tap for me is one of the most important films in my life, as far as I think it's one of the funniest comedies ever, but also, you know, as a mockumentary, when I was a kid, it made me kind of think about going into documentaries, even though it's obviously not a documentary. And, you know, the film is part of our zeitgeist, man, like Princess Bride, right? These are cultural, these are like cultural
that's a movie.
lives, especially for us, you know, the Generation X and the millennials. You know, these are, I mean, he gave us cultural icons, you know, like really special cultural. I mean, the musicians, you know, Christopher Guest, Michael McKean, and Harry Shearer, they're so good that the band actually was created from that film. And I love it. Every heavy metal guy loves Spinal Tap, man. I mean,
it really gave birth to the concept of two bass players in a band. Okay, so now that we've kind of been in the darkness, let's talk about the total winners of 2025, and let's, you know, that brings us right to the world of music and the reunion of one of the greatest bands to ever stem from England, Oasis. Let's talk about that. Not a lot of people saw that coming, and what's your take on that, Matt? It's one of the highest grossing tours of the year, if not of all time.
I told you
Matt
first,
Millan.
if the Gallaghers can get back together, I think anybody can. I even hear Josh Homme talking about not ruling out getting Caius back together now, and I thought that would never happen. So, I mean, I think the Gallaghers just putting their differences aside to you know, give us again Oasis, which is an important band. It's I think it's opening the pathway for like maybe, well, for also like, you know, other bands that broke up, or, you know, maybe thinking about like
I think it was a display of you know, coming together as family, putting the old rivalries of yesteryear aside, and I think it's something that England needed. I think it was really great to see. It made me feel like I was a schoolboy again as well. Hey, Matt, we're going to continue our venture into the world of music in 2025 following tonight's show. If you want to join us and you're a member, please do so. You'll be receiving a link shortly here in a couple of dozen minutes here. And Matt, if you could describe, before we go and get to another segment here, describe 2025 in a couple of words, if not a word. How would you describe this year in the world of everything, showbiz and music and everything?
Mixed. But I mean, and globally and personally, I mean, globally, I would say grim, actually. It's been utterly, you know, utterly grim. I keep on saying to myself that, you know, people in 1940, you know, what they must have felt like. But the one positive to take is, you know, 1940, you know, in the 1940 to 45, 39 to 45 passed, and the world moved on. And I think that's we need to hold on to some optimism and some hope that, you know, these times we're in a dark transitional period, and somehow the world's going to get through it, you know.
I could not agree more. Okay, Matt Millan, one of our wonderful new people here this year, you know, one of the highlights of 2025. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you for our after show with our members. Thank you very much. Okay, there you have it. Always good to see Matt Millan, I tell you that. And you know what? We're going to showcase one of his movies in the new year. I can't wait for that. Okay, we're now going to transition here into Real Deal Robots, Real Deal Bots. There it is. Look at that creepy guy here. Well, you know, the technocratic people, they're tired of a lot of this malarkey, aren't they? They're tired of humans. They don't like the way we smell. They don't like the way we have habitual traditions every year. And sometimes you can't blame them. We have a lot of drama and baggage. And if I were them, I probably would feel the same too. But the fact of the matter is, we're not them. And the Chinese agreed as well. Well, as we're now becoming more imperialistic by the month here and trying to divvy up the world into what's China's and what really belongs to the U.S. / Israel. Well, China has now some new humanoid robots that they want to introduce to the West, which many experts who are familiar with the bots are now calling Trojan horses. Yes, Trojan horses. That's incredibly correct there, as now they're making their way, they're making their march right here into the USA. They're going to follow that convoy all the way down to the West, as they could potentially turn against their masters, as Gigi might want us not to know. Well, that's absolutely correct now. Humanoid robots mass-produced by the millions in China and sold to the West for pennies as domestic assistants, wink, wink, well, can easily be turned against their masters with a single word command, experts have now warned. You know, just when we're getting closer and closer to the dream of what the Jetsons told us about. You remember, Rosie? Well, one hacked machine could then act as a, quote, Trojan horse and turn their devices against their owners in a very remarkable way. Well, it's thought that China's ability to mass produce millions of dirt cheap, they say, weapons and robots place Xi Jinping into a position where he has the controller, the joystick, and could potentially choke you to death, as they could find themselves in a very advantageous position to be able to control them. Well, security researchers have now warned about the initiate vulnerabilities in some of these household helpers, designed to make chores easier for the owners, which could be manipulated just by one simple verbal command. We have to find the safe word, I'm telling you. We have to find the safe word. Well, a compromised robot, for example, could become violent and could perhaps create a violent threat to family members, sabotage production lines, or even steal sensitive information, while creating a chain reaction attack with nearby machines. Now, at a recent tech convention over there in Shanghai, which if you weren't there, you missed it, cybersecurity research group called Dark Navy transformed a domestically produced humanoid robot priced at $14,200 into a, quote, mobile spy, which launched a physical attack on a mannequin. And boy, was it ever. Now, they turned robot raised in its arms and punched the dummy to the ground, carrying out malicious demands given by the white hat attackers. In a matter of minutes, the infected device then used near-field wireless communications to infect other offline robots to carry out malicious instructions. Now, when I've always said and shared with you that the film Terminator was a documentary, I wasn't kidding. I was not kidding at all. Now, it's worth noting that currently intelligent robots built by manufacturing powerhouse are primarily used in entertainment performances only, just for starters. However, business receptions and scientific research are telling us, well, that's the entryway to the West as they become part of the family, and a family that could be very deadly. You know those family members? To show and share with you is a further illustration of it all. I'm going to show you this piece here. We should be very wary of this because, look, say what you may, as this may sound like a daft story to you, but for starters, Oakland Police Department, they're now using RoboCops. This is not a joke. Many police departments, in fact, many Chinese ports, they're shipping ports around the country over there in China. They're getting rid of the longshoremen. They're now using AI, artificial intelligence, packing bots, distributors. We better take this seriously before it comes here and we're left in the dust of not knowing. Here is a little example of what these little doohickeys look like. And I'm not taking this lightly one bit. Check this out. Hello, Clarice. I'm your assistant robot. Domo gato, Mr. Roboto. Domo domo. This is their theme song too, just in case you're wondering. All right, well, that's who's going to be making your breakfast going forward in the future, as the Chinese robots are here to stay. They want to stay, replace the workforce. Just incredible, just incredible. Okay, Here is one of the last stories we'll do here tonight. Well, maybe one more after this. Well, this is crazy here. I can now share with you as we do the weird weather out there. There's now witnesses that saw a shark with a body after a woman vanished off the a California beach recently. And this is unexpected, but usually sharks come more inshore, come towards the beach when the waters are warm. This is coming out of Monterey County over there. Just last night, confirmed that 2 people reported seeing a possible shark before a swimmer disappeared off the coast of Pacific Grove earlier that day. So yeah, there's a woman who's missing, a 55-year-old woman who had been swimming near Lover's Point. Yeah, is now missing. In case you were in the area and you know anything, please call authorities at once. There is now an onslaught of sharks, deadly sharks with laser beams that are approaching the California shores in a very, very high speed acceleration. Okay, here's another one here. Check this story out before we have this one. I've been meaning to do this one real quick for quite some time. Scientists have found a new humanoid. So we went from robotnoids to now there's a new humanoid that has just been discovered and really explains a lot. This is really incredible. There's now a new humanoid called Littlefoot, which explains the little people. And I love this. Check this out. There's a new biggest science news over there. Yeah, Littlefoot, potential unknown human ancestor. That's where the Munchkins come from. Look at this. Look at these little people here. So yeah, they tan too. Yeah, so a study, so there's a new humanoid. That's all I have to tell you. So that goes back to the Neanderthal days. And yeah, so it shows that little people have been part of our society for quite some time, and we have to give them praise. So that's one of their cousins from ages old right there. There's that one for you. And finally, it will be the last story here tonight. Well, there seems to be a real Santa kind of a story now, as Santa and elves rob a Montreal grocery store to give food to the needy. Absolutely. A group called Robin des Roulettes, excuse me, I had a stroke when I said that, later said in a statement a stunt was intended to highlight the cost of living crises. However, Santa stealing food for the grocery food, this is in Canada, by the way, is our Real Deal International shows us. In Montreal, it shows that the cost of living and the cost of food, especially during the holiday season, is unaffordable for even those who may not realize it. But if Santa was stealing food from grocery stores, is that such a crime? Can they arrest Santa Claus? And how would that look on camera? How would that look? And by the way, if you're in Montreal and you're watching this, they're saying be on the lookout for Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry, who are spotted dining together. And if you see Justin Trudeau, well, just punch him right in the face for me. Thank you. That would be my Christmas gift. And Katy Perry, yeah, she's just using him to get to me. I think that's what's happening. Okay, on that note, we're going to get out of here as, we may be back. We don't know how the days are going to go. If there's any breaking news that happens, I'll be the first one to share with you. And members, we're going to continue our show with you. Please stay aboard with us, and you'll get a link very soon. Okay, we're going to get out of here. My final thought here is thank you for this wonderful holiday season. It's been a real pleasure. I hope to be back right after Christmas with all of you. Don't forget, tomorrow night is the encore director's cut of Melvis's Christmas special. You're going to see an extended version and a lot of scenery that we didn't get to put in the first one. And even this guy might be there. Yes, he's going to be collecting pennies for you. So that will be that one. So that's my final thought. Thank you for a wonderful Christmas experience. And it's been just really a real blast. So for Matt Millan, thank you for being here. We'll see you shortly. And for everyone that's here at Real Deal Media, I'm Dean Ryan. Say thank you for sharing a bit of this holiday season with all of us. And in the meanwhile, never forget to stay tuned and stay awake. A good night, everybody.